I don't have YouTube or Facebook up.
Okay.
So it's just, all I have is I thought I could.
That's all right. I'll feed you anything we need.
Okay.
And it's already on, so let's go.
Awesome. All right. Everyone, hope everyone is doing well. We have some people coming in. Want to, for those of you who are here, thank you for joining us on a different night than our usual second Tuesday of the month. We switched. We figured it'd be better to have it tonight, which is in the US, it's President's Day, and in Canada, it is Family Day instead of last week, which was, I think, Valentine's Day. So that's why we moved it. Thanks for being with us tonight. We're moving on. The last two shows, we've looked at best practices on storing your autographs, as well as how to safely carry your autographs around in Anaheim. We want to protect your investment. So now we're only 3 months away from Celebration. And this week, we're going to start to take a good look at the pricing structure that was set up in Chicago, comparing other ReedPop shows and their Star Wars lineups and recent trends in convention pricing. We talk about ReedPop, just so people, I don't want to assume what people know. ReedPop is just a huge company, and one very small part of that is Reed. Reed it's a large company. ReedPop is just their conventions that they do, which Celebration is one of them. They also do New York Comic Con and C2E2 in Chicago. They own the MCM shows, Manchester and London, a few others. So they're obviously the own Celebration. One of the biggest questions we get is who is running Autograph Hall? All right, because a third party has run Autograph Hall at Celebration since the first Autograph Hall in 2002 at Celebration 2. There wasn't an Autograph Hall for the first Celebration in Denver. You could get, if you saw the actors, they would sign for you, but there was no Autograph Hall. So I know many of us know that Official Picks, which is a great company, they ran Autograph Hall from Celebration 2 until Anaheim in, I think, 2015. Booking guests and providing images for the tables. They were the official licensee for photos for Lucasfilm. And then we know that after that, after they were no longer the licensee, that license went to Topps, which has been around, forever, with trading cards and even doing Star Wars trading cards back in 1977. They've been part of Star Wars from the very beginning. But they ran Autograph Hall in Orlando and Chicago under their Star Wars Authentics banner. And we know that Star Wars Authentics no longer exists. Topps has been sold to Fanatics. And there's really no official word on what's going on with the photo license. As far as we know as consumers, I'm sure there's talk about it inside circles, but that doesn't get out to most of us. I just want to say that Tops, and especially Mark von Olin, MVO, who we all love, the brand manager for Star Wars Authentics, they built extremely strong relationships. There's Mark. That was from New York Comic Con a few years back. They built strong relationships with the fan sites, which hadn't really been done before. It was fantastic. They gave my site, Star Wars Autograph News, several exclusives, including the release of all the exclusive images that were on the tables in Chicago, which was just fantastic. Thankfully, he is still very active with Star Wars fans, and in a very special way with our group here with Star Wars Celebration, as he's going to be joining us for the Darksaber watch-alongs that will be happening Thursday nights in our virtual Cantina network. So we have 9 weeks of Darksaber themed episodes of the Clone Wars, Rebels, the Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett. That's going to be a lot of fun. So that starts this week, this Thursday. So check it out. Mark will be with us, and very excited to have him as part of this. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we don't know for certain who was running Autograph Hall, but considering Repop does not use a third party to book signing guests at their other shows, including New York Comic Con, which is several times larger than Celebration, to say the least. My guess, and it's only a guess, but my guess is they're booking in-house for Anaheim. So my guess, that's going to be the basis of some of the analysis that I'm going to go through tonight. And it's quite possibly I'll be wrong about that. Maybe there is going to be a third party running Autograph Hall. This is just my educated guess. Part of the fun will be finding out as we get close to the show. So maybe I'll be wrong, but we'll all find out together. So this leads me to my first question. When we talk about autographs, we talk about prices for autographs. So my question, we have David O'Neill is my producer for the show. David does some tremendous work. All the graphics you see, he puts them together. He's just phenomenal. So I'm going to ask a question. David will get the answers for me. And my question is, who had the most expensive autograph at Celebration Chicago in 2019? Any guesses?
Oh, here we go. We've got our first response. David Lewis thinks it would be Hayden.
And David Lewis will be right. Hayden Christensen was the most expensive autograph at Star Wars Celebration Chicago at $199. Okay, there's Hayden. Hello, Hayden. All right, so just so in case you're wondering, see that I have a little watermark over the signatures. I do this for all the autographs that are on my website. And the only reason I do this is in hopes that I can make it at least a little bit difficult for anyone who would want to take a copy of that and try to fraudulently sell it as an actual autograph. It's good practice to put watermarks on your autographs if you're sharing them online. Obviously not a requirement, but where I am sharing so many autographs, that's why I do it. So I started with Hayden, that question about Hayden, and great job, David Lewis, for getting that one right. I started with Hayden because it's highly unlikely he would not be at Celebration. All right, I strongly suspect he will be there. And I don't base it on him attending previous celebrations or the upcoming Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which I can't wait for. I am so thrilled about this show. But because he was booked for several other Repop shows this year. All right, he was at New York Comic Con, MCM, Manchester, I believe, or London. He was booked for like at least 4 or 5 of their shows. So when a company like Repop contracts with somebody, a signer like this, and there are that many shows, they're not booking them for each separate show. It's one contract that includes all these shows. I can't imagine a scenario where that contract did not include Celebration. Could I be wrong? Of course I could be wrong, but it just doesn't. For me, it seems like a no-brainer. All right. Pricing is, so it's, even though we don't have any guests announced yet, it's time to really look at the pricing of what can we expect. And I know Spencer's done a lot of work with helping people to budget, with really good ideas about budgeting for your celebration. But Autograph Hall is, for a lot of us, where we spend a good amount of money. Okay, so in Chicago there were pretty much four tiers of prices. The lowest price was $40, and they had 15 signers at that $40 price point. Next one was $50, and they had 26 signers at $50. That was the majority, the largest of the four groups, 26 signers. $60, they had 7 signers at $60, and between 65 and up. So from 65 to the $199 that Hayden was charging. No, I shouldn't say Hayden was charging. That the $199 for his autograph price, 13. All right. So we had pretty much from $40 to $200 for autographs. Even though it doesn't seem like, it doesn't for me anyway, seem all that long ago that Chicago happened, it was in 2019, and that was several years ago now. And those prices reflected autograph prices at that time in 2019. So just for example, my first celebration, C5, the lowest price autograph was $20, and there were 38 signers at $20. And that was the base price for most conventions for an autograph in 2010. You could get an autograph for $20. Not Mark Hamill, not Carrie Fisher, but $20 you could get pretty much, the majority of the signers, that's what they charged. By 2019, they had pretty much moved up to $40. And I know Mark Von Olin has often said, I think he's the one that originated 40 is the new 20. Sadly, I don't think we stayed at that $40 basement price for very long. And I really would not be surprised if the starting price in Autograph Hall was 50 or even 60. I really hope that's not the case. I would love to see it stay at 40. I'm just not going to be surprised if it's 50. More specifically, when I'm budgeting my autograph prices, I'm assuming the minimum is going to be 50, 60. If I'm wrong and it's lower, that's great. I have extra money. I'll be able to get a couple of extra autographs before the weekend's out. But better be safe than sorry. Few things to know when it comes to convention autograph prices, because these questions come up all the time. People talk about it. Why is the signer so greedy? They're charging so much money. All right. The price of the autograph at celebration is going to be in relation to the contract that was made between the show and the signer's agent. All right. And I'm talking in general terms. This is not how it's always done, or this is not how it's done in every situation, but just to give you an idea. All right, contracts are different for each signer. Sometimes they include, sometimes even if there's the same booking agent, one booking agent might bring 5 signers to the show, and each one might have a different contract. The contracts have, the money that they're going to get for their time at the show, transportation, hotel, stipend. All right, this is why you don't often see actors with smaller roles who live in England or other places, where a lot of the signers from the original trilogy, especially, are in England. It's not going to be worthwhile to have to pay for their flight for most of them to come over to a U.S. celebration, especially when we're talking about California now, which is about as far away as you can get. All right, because there are some very, very popular signers who are doing the convention circuits in England all the time. Pam Rose is a fan favorite. People love her. Is she going to make it to a celebration? Probably not. The show's going to set the price in such a way as they can hopefully make their money back from the contract or profit. Sometimes they know they're not going to even come close to get, they go in knowing they're going to lose money on a signer. But in general, you can imagine a business wants to make money. So if they pay somebody $50,000 to be at the show for 4 days, they're hoping to get $50,000 worth of income on that person to get that money back. So the signer isn't usually directly setting the autograph price, but of course, the higher the contract, the more money the autograph is going to be. And they just try to keep it reasonable in most situations, but it is what it is. It's a business. All right. This, I think we've talked about this. Oh, I'm sorry. This is, I'm jumping ahead. So this is specific for celebration. This doesn't happen at any other conventions, but I see this at pretty much every celebration I've ever been to. It's important for autograph to collectors. So when I'm talking to collectors, you could be going, you might be getting one autograph in Anaheim, or you're going to drop a couple $1,000s in autograph haul. It applies equally. All right. It's important for collectors to keep in mind that the signer's entire body of work, and not only their role within Star Wars, is what's going to come into play with the contract. All right. We tend to be very protective of our actors who might feel they're slighted or insulted if we see an actor who had less of an impact on the saga have a higher autograph price in celebration. All right. Remember, it's their entire body of work. So case in point, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Okay. So she attended, what was it? She was in the last Orlando show. She was the seventh, she was the seventh sister in Rebels. Was a great part, but it was only in a couple episodes. She had an autograph price of $150 at that show in Orlando, which was more than everyone else in autograph hall except Oscar winner Felicity Jones, who was $200, and the one and only Mark Hamill, who was $250. To put this into perspective, for $150, so I'm talking about people getting being protective. For $150, you could have bought the Emperor, Ian McDermott, Chewbacca, Peter Mayhew, and Mike Quinn. You could have bought 3 autographs from those 3 for the same price of Sarah Michelle Gellar. So obviously her price isn't based on, she's at Star Wars Celebration, and her autograph price is not based on this role of the Seventh Sister. She's Buffy, and Buffy is a huge, huge franchise in itself, but also she doesn't like doing conventions, right? If somebody doesn't like doing conventions, they're not motivated to be there. A show's going to have to pay them more if they're trying to entice them to come, right? And the price is going to reflect that. Okay, so that's something to consider, because we're seeing more and more cameos and big name actors taking on roles in Star Wars. It's not new, but more and more, especially with Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian, and so we're seeing it happen more and more. This is the part I was to say. I think we've covered this before, but it does play a part in the show pricing autographs, and it's something to really keep in mind. It's very important for you to remember that your autograph and your photo op tickets do not include a meet and greet. All right. And I say this to help with disappointments for people that are new. Right. You get the autograph ticket and you want to tell the person how much they meant to you and how they changed your life, and how as a kid you had their figure and you played with it until it broke and all those things. This is Celebration. There's going to be 40,000 other people with that same exact story, right? But aside from that, part of the pricing structure includes the number of sales that they hope that they can make in a day for the show. Signers are generally allotted a minute, maybe 2 minutes for each customer to see if there's a dedication and scripture, if that's allowed. A dedication is when they say to Frank. All right, personalization, it's also called. Inscription, may the force be with you. Sometimes that's okay, sometimes it's not. It'll be specific to each signer. And then they need to, and then to sign the image and to make sure it, then they handle and make sure, to make sure that, the ink's dry before they give it to you or anything like that. Boom, 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 right? So it's quick. The photo ops, if you've done a professional photo op, that's a 2-second process, right? You're not getting any time to talk to them. But that 2 minutes, so that 1 to 2 minutes can look very different depending on the signer, the length of their line, right? They might say hi to you. They might ask you about the show. They might not acknowledge your existence and not even make eye contact with you. or give you even the smallest of pleasantries. It's important to remember any interaction you get from them is a bonus, because the only thing your autograph entitles you to is for their scribble on your picture. That's all you're paying for. I've had amazing conversations with some actors, and I mention this often. Frank Henson at C5, talked to him for a good 10 minutes, and I'll never forget it. He's since passed on, and he wasn't somebody that I particularly wanted his autograph, but he didn't have a line. I had some extra money, and I said, oh, I was wanting to get as many autographs as I could, and I just had the best conversation with him. Sometimes that happens, and then the last time I got Mark Hamill's autograph was the example of they didn't even make eye contact. He was moving so fast at New York Comic Con. It was just there was no conversation. He was just signing, boom, boom, boom. It happens, all right. And I only say that because I don't want people to be disappointed if they don't get to have that conversation that they want with the signer. To the extreme, C5, I got Anthony Daniels' autograph. I was told, and we were told before when he was in the one of the guests in the black partition, so you couldn't go right directly up to his table. You had to go through he was kind of blocked off from everybody else. Now they told us, do not talk to him, do not touch the table. Very strict. And I went into there like this was my first celebration, and I was a little bit like, okay, all right. But he ended up initiating and talking to me, and we had a really good conversation. All right, so it's going to vary depending on people, but ultimately, if they spend 5 minutes with everybody in line, they're not going to get through everybody. So you have people that pay for tickets that are going to be disappointed. It's a lose-lose, right? So it has to move, right? I know Mark had a formula. I never talked to Ben from Official Picks about this, but Mark, I know, had a formula when it came to booking guests, with a goal was a certain percentage from the three trilogies in animation in the autograph hall, because the Mandalorian hadn't started yet. That's in Chicago, right? He wanted to make sure there was something for every fan. So in Chicago, which had the largest autograph hall to date, there were 61 scheduled signers before the cancellations, right? So that broke down to, we had 13 guests from the original trilogy, 10 from the prequels, 17 from the sequel trilogy and standalones, and 22 from the animated series. So the majority were for animated series. I know Mark has a special place on his top for the kids. He wants to make sure the kids have fun. Not that the Star Wars animated shows are just for kids. I think a lot of us love them, but I know he wanted to make sure there were plenty of the animated actors there for the kids. So that's how it kind of broke up, and so I would hope that we'll see that continue. All right. The word is we're getting a much smaller autograph hall in Anaheim. I know that was even when Tops was still involved. I know Mark had said it was going to be a smaller one as well. So it would be too much to expect another 50 plus signers in autograph hall. It's really just never that high. But again, I hope the formula continues, that they break it up among trilogies, and now the live action shows as well in animation. Since I'm going on the belief that Repop will be booking guests themselves, which again could be wrong, we'll see. I took a look at New York Comic Con, which they just ran in October 2021, a few months ago, to see which Star Wars guests Repop had at the show. So here's who they had, and I'm not including authors or comic creators. They did have some Star Wars comic creators and authors, but here's who they had just a few months ago at New York Comic Con. Hayden Christensen, George Takei, we had one role in Clone Wars, Dante Basco, who was in Rebels, Adam Savage from, we know him from his TV show, but he was also behind the scenes in the prequels, D. Bradley Baker, Dickie Beer, John Morton, Matthew Wood, Karen Fukuhara, and David Harbour. Excuse me. As already mentioned, I think Hayden is a given. I also think it's unlikely we would see George Takei or Dante Basco. Even though they both do a lot of shows, I'd be surprised if we saw them in Anaheim. Celebration loves a Boba Fett, right? And it's my hope that this continues in Anaheim. So I would be surprised if we didn't see John Morton and Dickie Bear. And the good thing with John and Dickie is they played other roles. John was Dak in Empire Strikes Back, and he just happened to fit in the suit the day that Jeremy was overdoing James Bond and couldn't be in that scene for Empire. So he has the Bespin Boba scenes. And Dickie is a stuntman. Dickie Bear is a legend. He's just he is a tremendous stunt coordinator and a great guy. Very quiet, but I went out for beers with him in Germany and got to really know him, and just a really nice guy. Continuing with the people that Repop had in New York, I think it's very likely we see D. Bradley Baker with season 2 of The Bad Batch coming up this year. It's been a joke in autograph collecting communities that we say, should we have him sign a poster 4 times for The Bad Batch? I hope he's there. Again, these are just, educated guesses, looking at information that's out there. There's no guarantee. All right, but I would think, you think about who's the show going to want to have there, in addition to who have they already booked for their other shows. Next to Karen Fukuhara is known for The Boys, and Karen was just at Rhode Island Comic Con I went to in November, and she was there. She's in The Boys, but she also had this role in Star Wars Visions. So I was able to get her autograph on. This is the shots from Visions. And David Harbour, who was also at New York Comic Con, also did a voice in. Who was from David Harbour's from Stranger Things, and I think was he in Black Widow? I think one of those Marvel shows, and he also did a voice in Visions. And while I love to see them both there, I think it's a long shot. And it depends on if they're going to promote Visions or not. All right. Who else could we see? All right. So look at other clues as to who would Repop want to reach out to and get for the show. All right. Celebrations started literally as a way to celebrate the release of the prequel trilogies. So Celebration 1, 2, and 3 celebrated the release of The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. Celebration 4 was the 30th anniversary of Star Wars. The first Europe celebration was the 30th anniversary of Star Wars in the UK. Japan was the 30th anniversary of Star Wars in Japan. C5, 30th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. In Orlando, it's the 40th anniversary of A New Hope. So what's being celebrated in 2022? Well, first we have to look, I think, at when the show was originally going to happen, which was 2020, which would have been the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. It's the 45th anniversary of A New Hope, and also the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. All right, so I don't see them celebrating an odd year anniversary like the 45th anniversary of A New Hope. They haven't done that in the past. But I do hope to see a concentration of Empire Strikes Back and Attack of the Clones signers to kind of coincide with the celebration of those 2 milestones for those movies. Nice thing. So we're in Anaheim again. This is the second time Celebration will be in Anaheim. The first time was in 2015. It was a really good show. And one of the nice things about it was being in California, they were able to get a lot of the ILM people, not a lot, but they were able to get ILM people there, including Lauren Peterson and Kirk Thatcher. Steve Gawley was there. Dan Perry, who designed The Crawl. So a lot, some behind the scenes people that we don't always see at Celebration. Before Anaheim, C6 had a lot of behind the scenes people. That was Nick Malley was there. I think Lou and John Berg. So there were they don't focus on behind the scenes too often in Autograph Hall, but every once in a while. So hopefully being in California again, this will allow us to have more behind the scenes people. I love collecting autographs of the behind the scenes people. There came a point where I just thought about when I started collecting, obviously I wanted, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, all the big names. But then as you get into it, you realize how much work went behind the scenes in Star Wars so that we could get lost in it, immersed, so it could be, something special and not just one of the countless sci-fi films that came and went and weren't anything special. The behind the scenes people were a big part of that because we could suspend, disbelief because it looked so real and they were creating these technologies. So I love collecting autographs and behind the scenes people. I love looking at the credits and matching the names to the people I have in my autographs from that I've met that made these effects possible. So hopefully, again, they're in California. They don't, the show doesn't have to pay for airfare, or that, they're probably, well, maybe they do if they're up in San Francisco, they would, but it's not going to be that much. So hopefully we'll have another year where we get a lot of those ILM folks. I forget who told, it might have been Mark who told us this. It might not have been, I don't remember, I apologize, but we pretty much been told that the sequel trilogy actors are now eligible to appear in autograph film, meaning the big names, which was not the case at any of the previous celebrations. And while I don't think we'd see a Daisy or an Adam, I think most anyone else is probably on the table. So I'm excited to see who I can add for my collection that I don't already have. All right. And, there's, it's, for me, sequel trilogy autograph collecting. I have a lot of names, but I haven't even started going deep into this sequel trilogy as far as autograph collecting. And Celebration is a good place to be able to do that. So hopefully they have some new people that haven't been at Celebration yet. We do know, or historically, you wouldn't have any signers that are in a project that hasn't aired yet. So Andor, right? Anybody, or Kenobi, actors that are in that show that haven't been in Star Wars yet, you're not going to see them in Autograph Hall, most likely, because they're not going to have images for them to sign. If the project hasn't come out yet, there's no images for them to sign. So unlikely we would see, we're not going to see anybody from, we might see Alan Tudyk, right? He could be there because he's been in Rogue One already. And maybe, by May, we'll have a trailer for Kenobi. Is it possible we have images for Kenobi because of the trailer? Possibly. But maybe not, because again, well, maybe because it starts the night before Celebration. So maybe there will be images on tables that we'll have to see. They're very careful about that with images and spoilers when it comes to autograph photos, giving away anything. So we'll have to see. Thankfully, most of the shows that are out there, Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, Andor, they're tied to previously released films. So there's going to be actors there that were in those older films, and they could come because they're in those older films, even though they're in current projects too. So that would be cool. Right now in conventions, and I have on Star Wars Autograph News, I think I have 200 Star Wars actors, artists, comic creators, authors that are doing conventions right now. If you go to a Star Wars Autograph News, find a signer. It's just full of people from Star Wars that are out there doing conventions. And I hope before too long, I'll have some Celebration names to put up there. But of course, we don't know anyone who's going to be at Celebration yet. So that includes many of the cast and crew from The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett are out there signing at conventions right now, who I expect will be represented at Celebration. Just as an example, Emily Swallow, up until COVID, the three most frequent signers from Star Wars, and they've all passed, unfortunately, but Peter Mayhew, Jeremy Bulloch, and Dave Prowse, they were doing shows not every weekend of the year, but almost, even at the ages that they were. Sadly, they're gone. Emily Swallow has kind of taken up that mantle, and she's out there at so many shows. All right. And I would expect to see her at a celebration, right? We just had, like I said, Rhode Island Comic Con just happened in November. Emily was there. Chris Bartlett was there from all the Disney Plus shows. Omid Abadi, Laura Mary Kim. So there were a lot of Disney Plus Star Wars actors there, and I really do expect that'll be the case. That we'll see them in Anaheim. I'm going to give you a piece of advice that we jokingly refer to it as the celebration tax when it comes to autographs. You might have someone attend a convention in April and their autograph is $40. And then you see when the schedule for celebration, it's more. I would suggest, looking at that, if you look at, the conventions that happen near you, you might be able to get an autograph for a lower price at your local show. And I think I would also recommend doing that, checking your local shows if you're working on any posters to try to get them at your local show. And if that means you don't have to bring your poster to Anaheim, especially if you're traveling across the country like I. Just things to think about. So my biggest prediction, and this is more for myself, what I want to happen. My biggest prediction for celebration is not Mark Hamill, it's Ewan McGregor. All right. He's been booked at 2 shows since COVID. Both appearances were canceled. I had tickets to both of them. One of them was right here in Boston, 12 miles from my house, canceled. And then I had tickets for the show in Texas that they canceled as well. He had never been booked for shows before. That's 2 shows that he was booked for, even though they didn't happen. I think it bodes well that we see him at Celebration, not just at Celebration, but in Autograph Hall, I hope. I say I hope Anaheim will be the one that he attends, because as I always say, celebrations, if nothing else, are built on hope. All right. So we'll see. Maybe we'll see if we see Ewan McGregor. I hope. Anyway, that is what I have for this week. I want to get to your questions, because I hopefully you guys have questions. I should have said that in the beginning. Your questions are the best part of this for me. Before we get to your questions, I just have a quick announcement. All right, and this is about our Star Wars Celebration virtual Cantina Bunta Eve. If you don't know what Bunta Eve is, it might be because it used to be called something different. Right? But we've had to change the name. Bunta Eve is our big karaoke party the night before, the Wednesday before Celebration kicks off, May 25th, 2022. Right? Is that? Yep. I'm looking at this image, and I'm so glad Celebration's happening, because we were kind of running out of time to be able to use this logo, because the Rise of Skywalker has been a few years now. But I love Babu Freak and Baby Yoda. I love this image. So the announcement is we're going to have, if you came to us in Chicago, we had Kevin Thompson was there signing autographs for people. We're going to do that again this year, and it's on this night we're going to have some special guest signing autographs for you, and it will be presented by me, my website, Star Wars Autograph News. So we have guests booked that we're already done. John Notman, Spencer have already found autograph signers. Some of them have already been announced, but I'm very happy that Star Wars Autograph News is going to be part of this. Again, that's my baby. It's just hit our 10th anniversary back in November. So we have a few people. So Ilani and Ariel Shoup, who Jawa's mother and daughter team, that both in the Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian. All accounts, they're just fantastic people. I can't wait to meet them in person at the show. I should say this is very important. Anyone that will be attending Bunta Eve, if they're scheduled to sign and then they get contracted to sign at Celebration, they won't be signing any autographs for us. That's a conflict. And of course, we would love to see them signing at Celebration. If they can be with us and sign for us at Bunta Eve, we'll love it. We love it. We're very happy. But that would trump us. That would be, obviously they'd go to the big show and not be able to sign. They would still come. They could still come and be part of the event, but they wouldn't be able to sign autographs. Just keep that in mind. So, Dave, who else do we have signing autographs? So I believe this is a new person. This is Tim Donaldson, who was a Jawa in A New Hope. Tim was a young boy when he filmed this, and that one of the few Jawas who was not played by a little person. He was played by a child. So Tim has agreed to come and sign for us at Bunta Eve, which is great. We're very happy to have Tim. So the event is at Biggs in Fullerton. Runs from 4 to 12 a.m. So we're looking at 4 to 8, we'll be doing autographs, we'll have our signings, and then 8 o'clock we have our PG-13 karaoke event, and it's just gonna be a blast. If you were with us in Chicago, and we had a ton of people in Chicago, I was blown away by how many people we had. It was absolutely fantastic. I have no doubt it's going to be bigger and better this year than it was even then, and that's hard to believe, hard for me to wrap my mind around, because it was such an amazing event. We hope you can join us. Again, Biggs is the name of the place in Fullerton, which I believe is David, what, 10 minutes away from the show?
10, 15, depending on traffic.
10, 15, okay, not too bad.
LA traffic, it could be, 4 hours, but 10 or 15 minutes.
All right, not too bad. So we hope you can, kick off Celebration with us the night before. Everything happens on Thursday, that you can spend it with us. Bunta Eve. It's become one of the events that, we always talk about everything that happens. Celebration isn't just what happens between 10 and 6 at the show, on the show floor. If you're only doing that, that's only half the picture. We've become one of those events that people want to attend. There's the 501st Bash and Rebel Force Radio Party, and I'm seeing Bunta Eve become one of those events that people must attend events before the show. We also, I should say, before we go into the signers, our good friends from Skywalking Through Neverland, Sarah and Richard will be there. They have just some amazing things planned. There'll be trivia, there'll be interviews, they're going to be doing their podcast. It's going to be amazing. All right, so signing autographs as of now, again, because we don't know who's going to be signing in Autograph Hall. Kevin Thompson coming back. I cannot wait. Today is Kevin Thompson's anniversary, him and Tracy. So happy anniversary to Kevin and Tracy. Wonderful people. If you came to Chicago, you know that, because they were just fantastic. So we're very happy for Kevin to be back. Kevin's also hosting the event, so you'll get to see a lot of Kevin, which I'm thrilled for that. Dominic Pace, who's become just a fan favorite the last couple of years, touring the country twice over at least, going to these comic shops and small signings, meeting fans. Of course, he was in season 1 of The Mandalorian and a couple episodes, Gecko the Bounty Hunter. So great opportunity to meet Dominic. I should say, I think Kevin's book I believe will be out before Celebration. So we'll be looking for that. It's amazing.
I think it said March 1st.
What did you say?
I think he said March 1st.
Okay, awesome. So you'll be, make sure if you get picking that book, make sure you bring, if you get it beforehand, make sure you bring it with you to Chicago so Kevin can sign it for you. I love a signed book. I love collecting signed books, so I know I'll be getting one for him to sign. But Dominic will be there, and we already mentioned Tim. Eric Walker from the Ewok Adventures. And the first Ewok Adventure, I believe he had maybe a small piece in the second one. He's going to be there. Great guy. I know we've had him on Virtual Cantina, and he has his own podcast that he does. Fantastic. Check it out. And then, of course, Leilani and Ariel, who we've also mentioned. So a great time. Just to give you a little taste, a little something fun to do before we're all, starting. We're going to be there to kick things off and to really, I love it, that we're going to start celebration together and karaoke. And we've had some really talented people do that karaoke. It's not, I've done karaoke once in my life, but I absolutely loved the contestants, and some were just absolutely amazing. So can't wait. Can't wait. All right. So I don't know, David, is anybody with us? Is anybody listening? Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, there are tons of people listening, and there are tons of questions, sir.
All right.
We'll start with kind of a three-pronged question. Here we
Okay.
go. Is what do you think the odds are based on who's appearing at other conventions and what's going, the odds on Pedro Pascal, Rosario, Tamura Morrison?
Um, I would say out of the three, Tem has the biggest chance of being in an autograph hall. He was booked for Chicago, and that was, of course, before Boba Fett we knew about Boba Fett. He does shows. I would imagine it's likely he had to cancel Chicago. He wasn't there, but he was booked. Rosario does not like to do shows. It's maybe we'll see her at a panel. Unlikely she would do autograph hall. But again, you never know. She was well, I'm sorry, I almost said something I shouldn't say. And Pedro, again, I would love to see Pedro, Lateef Crowder, and Brendan Wayne, all three of them in autograph hall. I don't think it's likely we'll have Pedro in autograph hall, but I do think it might be likely we would see him in a panel. These are just my guesses. What I want to say is yes, I want them all, but the likelihood, probably not.
So are any of those people currently appearing at other cons?
Tem did some private signings. I can't remember if he did a show. He's not currently up on my site. He did more private signings. Rosario, again, she doesn't like to do conventions, and Pedro hasn't done any conventions either.
So here's another one that is on everybody's mind, the forefront. So yes, we're living in really uncertain times and it's hard to predict, but when do you think we might be getting some official announcements?
Right now it is February 21st. I say this every year that the announcements are late coming out. This year, I really feel that they're late coming out. I would expect in March we'll get our first. Maybe hopefully early March. The kind of talk is that's around when we would see it. So, and Mark Von Olin, he talked a lot about this on our podcast, on the Star Wars Autograph News podcast. Sometimes these contracts can take months and months and months. I remember one. I believe he started working on this contract in October or November of the year before, so 2018, and the person didn't finalize the contract until a couple of weeks before Celebration was announced. So sometimes these contracts take a long time, and that's why they're delayed. I would say if I would expect in March we start to see them. Hopefully they don't make us wait longer than that, because the announcements just add to, of course we can start our budgeting and buying our autograph tickets, but it really kicks off the excitement when we start to know which actors are going to be there and signing autographs. For me, at least, and a lot of my friends, that's the part that really kicks us in, and we're psyched to get, for Celebration.
Very cool. And so this is kind of a personal opinion question.
Okay.
So Scooby asked this, who are three talents, aside from Ewan, that you would like to see signing autographs at Celebration that you have not met yet?
Hmm, that's a good one. Let me come back to that one. I
All
want to give
right.
that a little bit of thought.
All right, give that one some thought while you answer this one. Jonathan
Okay.
Notman asks, um, any thoughts on whether they might limit the number of guests and autograph sales based on the pandemic? Are they going to, you know, kind of limit entry into that room with the talent?
I haven't heard specifics. I've only heard that it's going to be a much smaller autograph hall than it's been in the past. Um, I'm sure that there'll be social distancing, uh, but they just they did Rhode Island Comic, no, they did New York Comic Con, and they have other big shows. And I don't believe. I mean, they had. I think you expect what you will expect is to see the plastic. If anybody's been to a convention recently, a lot of times they're going to have plastic on the table. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that. Um, I don't that could John, that might very well play a part. Um, but I'm hoping for a 30 guest autograph hall. I haven't heard exactly, but personally, I'd be disappointed if it was less than 30.
So what I'm hearing,
Given COVID, given everything else, I need at least 30 people there.
yeah, so what I'm hearing you say is that you think that they're more than likely going to limit the number of people in the autograph hall by limiting the number of talent that's there, not necessarily hard and fast limits on how many people can funnel
Oh,
through there.
I'm sorry. So how many fans can be in that area?
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to use Epic again. I would hope so because Epic was amazing, in Chicago, and that would be an easy way to control it. How many people are actually physically in that area at one time? I haven't heard yet. I don't even know if they're using Epic again. If they didn't use Epic, I think it would be very challenging to limit the number of people in autograph hall without bounces with the clicker that we use to count the number of people in a room. But I think something like Epic, they could very easily do crowd control and limit the number of people for COVID precautions. I just don't know if they will.
Okay. Um, so Mark Mace would like to get your comment on the autograph hall setup and how you think that's going to be and change. Says at Celebration 4 and 5, you could walk around and talk to celebs if they weren't busy. Well, except for the big ones.
Yeah.
And at Chicago, you didn't really have that chance to talk to anyone unless you were scheduled for an autograph if you were there getting a photo op or whatnot. What do you think is going to be for this year?
Yeah, it really, I can't imagine them not using Epic again, but I just don't know. Um, if it's closed and you need to, you have a ticket that gives you entry to the autograph area and you have to have that ticket to access that area. Yeah, I mean, just keep in mind though, in Chicago, if I had an autograph ticket at 1 o'clock for I'm at best, I was in that. They didn't check to make sure you left as soon as you were done,
Mm.
giving you an opportunity. Um, Again, remember, um, they got to get through those lines. If you see somebody that doesn't have a line, there's nobody there, and you're in the autograph area, there's no reason not to go up and say hi. But as soon as somebody comes up, a paying customer, then you step aside and you let them go. Um, but yeah, it's kind of if you're not buying any autograph tickets and they do the same Epic thing, yeah, you're not going to even be able to do that. You're not going to be able to go up and say hi and like you did in Celebration C5. It was very easy to do that because it's open. Chicago was the first time they did that, and again, as much as that kind of stinks if you can't go up and unless you're buying an autograph, you can't even say hi to somebody. The payoff in Chicago for Epic was just phenomenal. It made the experience so much easier for people. People that have had challenges in the past with autographs and frustrations, much less of that in Chicago because of Epic. So I think the pros overweigh the cons in that situation. And yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to just kind of go up to somebody and say hi.
unless they're not busy and you buy the cheapest autograph ticket to get in the hall and linger a little bit.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that that's again, it is celebration. I mean, we're there because we're Star Wars fans. They know that it is a different vibe than other shows. Um, it's if there's nobody there, there's no line. Go up, yeah, say hi, talk to them. You probably have some great conversations and learn a lot. I've learned so much from talking from those what you're talking about. I've learned so much about the films and the hobby just from those conversations. Just you never know what they're going to tell you. So yeah, if you can do it, definitely do it.
All right. So, a little off topic on this one, and they admit that. Any thoughts on panels that may be hosted?
Oh, panels are where I'm really trying not to get my hopes up on panels because I love celebration panels. I love the Mandalorian. I loved the 40th anniversary Star Wars panel. So what I don't know. I would hope to see any of these new projects that are coming out. I want a panel, and I hope we do. I hope that they really give us a good. Hey, you've been waiting a couple of years for this show. We're going to really treat you to some great content. I want to see Andor. I want to see Ahsoka. I want to see something from Mandalorian. There's so many new projects coming our way. Half of them forget about because it's been since Investor Day 2020. It's been a long time. So I really I want panels from these new projects. Do I know that's what will happen? No, but and Kenobi, of course, Kenobi. I would say that's the safest bet is Kenobi, but I would imagine Kenobi, Ahsoka, Andor, maybe and maybe by that time maybe we'll get the cease trailer from Andor.
There you go.
Might so yeah, I get really excited for the panels. Also for the to turn around to put it on topic with to make it. There's a lot of great autographs that can be had at panels. Not those big ones in the main stage, but the smaller ones. There's a lot of great autograph collecting to be done at panels. We'll talk about that in another show.
Cool. Excellent. So Dave Lewis wants you to look into your crystal ball. He wants to pin you down to your prediction. You've gotta bring this out there. What do you think the weather's going to be like at the end of May? Do you think it's going to snow in Anaheim like it did in Chicago?
I'll go out on a limb and say, we'll be safe at the food trucks outside the hall and we won't get any snow. That was something in Chicago, getting snow that weekend.
Excellent.
Oh, man.
All right. We're going to circle it back, and you got to go back to Scooby's question now. Here we are.
All right.
Who are 3 talents, aside from Ewan, that you would like to be there in the autograph hall that you have personally not met yet?
Don B's.
All right, while you're thinking, tell us who that is, because some of us may not know who that is.
Don B's worked behind the scenes. Besides the droids in Return of the Jedi, he was, that Boba Fett does that thing with the Twilight dancer and kind of gives her the little thing on the cheek, and that's Don. Yeah, he was Boba Fett in the special edition, I think. Is that what? Yeah, special edition. Yeah. I was gonna say Frank Oz, but I have met Frank Oz. I don't have his autograph though. I do have his autograph, but not from him directly. So let's see. Don B's. I'll say Pedro. I do have his autograph, but I would love to meet him in person. And it's hard to think of somebody I haven't met.
That's the tricky bit of the question. Scooby's a tricky dude.
Yeah, I like good one. Good question, Scooby. One more, man. I don't know. I haven't met Harrison. I haven't met Harrison Ford.
There you go.
There it is. Cop out answer.
Excellent. Well, that, sir, is all the questions we seem to have. So I think we're safe to wrap it up a little bit there.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hopefully, this information helps in your planning for celebration. Let us know. We have T-shirts for the show, celebrating autographs. Check out our T Public store. We also have all kinds. We have it feels like we have new shirts coming out every 10 minutes. There's always, and they're all great. So check us out. But celebrating autographs with Frank Rich, very nice. Very nice, David. Thank you. I love the logo. You guys they did a great job with the logo. So check us out again. T Public, a lot of great shirts. What else do you have there?
Year 2.
Year 2, which I cannot believe it's year 2 already. For our virtual cantina, right? Very
Absolutely.
nice. Let's see. What's that one?
What? Come out to Tatooine. We'll get together. We'll have a few laughs.
Diod. Nice. Very nice.
And so I think Spencer's put a little post on the page, the Facebook page. One coming very soon. Might have been finished up earlier today. So
new designs. Always check the T Publics. There's always new designs up there. So check it out. Great T-shirts. You're gonna need to wear something cool for celebrations. So get them while you can. Virtual Cantina Network. Subscribe to us on YouTube. I can't believe we're almost at 900 subscribers, but you're going to get a cool prize if you are our 900th. We have great shows on the Virtual Cantina Network. Started out just on Facebook. Now everything's up on YouTube as well. Great shows. I got to see I think I got to watch the Jedi Archives. Is that Sunday morning, David? Is that
yes. Yeah. Jedi Archives is our comic book show on Sunday mornings. It was on this past Sunday.
We just have some really just people that really know Star Wars and love Star Wars, and it's absolutely reflected in the content that we've been putting out with the Virtual Cantina. So check us out on YouTube, the Virtual Cantina Network. That's the name of the channel on YouTube. Check us out there. Also, we're on Facebook. That's how we started, as a Facebook group. YouTube. We're on Twitter and Instagram as well. So check us out. Subscribe. The more you can do this and help us to grow, we really appreciate it. And we appreciate all of you who are here tonight and everyone who's just made this group really a place that keeps the spirit of celebration going 365. And absolutely love it. It's because you the great people in our group.
All right. That's it for the
That's it. And my site, StarWarsAutographNews.com. Again, tons of content. If you're thinking of going to a show, you want to know who's coming, which actors are coming to a show near you, click on the Find a Signer program page. If you want to see who's attended celebration in the past, just in the search bar, Star Wars Autograph News, then and now. And you'll see the piece that lists every Star Wars actor at every celebration, every autograph hall, and every price that was charged. I just about lost my voice, so I think this is definitely the time to say goodbye and thank everybody. We hope to see you soon. We'll be back the second week in, what's next month? March?
March.
Second week in March. Hope to see you then. Till then, may the Force be with you.
Right. May the Force be with you all.